Again, let me say hello to all of you.
Hello.
I beg your pardon? Thank you. It is, we got about 30 seconds to go before we begin our meeting. But I just wanted to spend that little time just saying how much I appreciate everybody being on tonight.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. All right, it's 7:30 now. So, all right, again, welcome, and we will call the meeting to order with a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Alderwoman West,
Present.
Alderwoman Tatman.
She won't be on tonight.
Okay,
She's
Alder,
excused.
okay. Alderwoman Reed,
Present.
Alderman Carroll, Alderman Thomas,
Present.
Alderman Christian,
Here.
Alderwoman Dales.
Dales is absent,
Okay,
unapproved absent.
okay. Alderwoman Avant Elliott.
Present.
I see the Treasurer Howard, City Attorney Dorothy Coleman. I see the Collector Broussard. I'm the City Clerk. Is the Police Chief here? Okay, Mayor.
All righty. Is there a motion to, I'm not sure we need a motion to approve the agenda because the agenda was set when we voted to continue with the remainder of the agenda from last week. But
Mayor, I'm sorry, Mayor, point of order. How many people are present? Just to see if we have a quorum.
We have West, Reed, Thomas, Christian, Dales, Avant Elliott. So
You
that's
said Dales wasn't here.
Dales, I'm sorry, Dales is not here. So we have 5. And Alderman Carroll, did you come? Oh, and Alderman Carroll. So we have 6.
Okay, all right, thank you.
all right, so is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to remove the public comment, which was not a part of the approval process from the last board meeting. The second public comment, we will have the first one and not the second one per the motion that took place last week.
Alderwoman Reed, second.
All right, is there a motion to approve the agenda with the amendment?
I got a question.
Okay. All right.
It's Alderman Thomas.
Alderman Thomas, yes.
Yeah, I realized that we had public comments on the from that meeting we had the other night, but I'm sure that the citizens would like to have input into our meeting tonight. And my question is, if you could address why.
I'm not sure if you're freezing up, but we will have a public comment. We just have the first one at the beginning, which will be a continuation from the previous meeting as I voted and the rest of the board voted for. So we will have public comment at the beginning.
Are you going to add the public comment back? Okay, I see it now. All right, but we're not going to have the one at the end.
Yes, because that wasn't approved to continue on. We already had one. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, it's been moved and properly second that we approve the agenda with the amendment of not having public comment at the beginning. So all in favor?
At the end, Mayor, at the end.
Yeah, you didn't understand what I said. We're not having it at the beginning. We will have it at the end.
So my motion was for it to be at the beginning.
Your motion was to have the public comment at the beginning?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I missed it. All right, then, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposers, nay.
Christian, nay.
All right, ayes have it, and so ordered. Uh, The new business, the Family Dollar liquor license.
Point of order, Mayor. We need to do the public comments now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Public comments now, 3 minutes. I beg your pardon now.
Thank you.
Is there anyone for the public who would like to share at this time? No one from the public. We won't have comments at the end, so you'll either speak now.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
Mayor Ebony Hartfield has her hand up. She didn't press the hand button,
Okay.
but her
I-
hand.
that's okay.
I see
My
how.
apologies.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment about the proposal for the Family Dollar to have a liquor license. I really think as a citizen and especially as a neighbor who lives nearby, that particular facility is a bad idea. I understand how problematic that particular location has been when it comes to public safety and crime and so on and so forth. So, I mean, I don't know what can be done to prevent something like that from happening, but I just think it's a bad idea.
Mhm. All right, thank you. Any other comment from the public? Then, all righty, we will bring it back to the board. And we'll be on the new business, which is Family Dollar liquor license. Our city collector. I thought she.
Hi,
oh, there she
I'm
is.
here. I saw the new business. I didn't put this on the agenda, so whoever put this on the agenda, I don't know what the question is. So I wasn't at the meeting after the mayor said there was no meeting, so I'm kind of in the dark on this, so.
Okay, so does it, all right, Alderman Thomas. Alderman Thomas? I'll come back if you can't hear me. Alderwoman Elliott?
All right, Collector, per our ordinance, you let us know, you present that liquor license to the board. And it was on the agenda last week as if you had asked for it to be on the agenda for us to approve it. So we removed it because of you not being there. I guess you left after the mayor called for adjournment, and just for future reference, the board only adjourns. But have you approved it? Has it met the requirements for us to vote on it? Because that's where we are now, because it was on the agenda the last time, as if it may have met all the requirements, the bond, the moral character, and everything else that the ordinance indicates, the registered voter, all of that. So we are waiting for you to advise us on the completion of that, because my understanding is per ordinance, we would have to vote for it if they met all the requirements, but we did not have your advising last board meeting.
Okay, I understand. I guess this was like maybe a couple of months ago, and I had at the time, I guess the finance manager was acting on my behalf, and she sent everything for this Family Dollar liquor license to the attorney to review. So she informed me on Friday, because I'm not in the office, that she got everything back from the attorney, and it looked good. And so the certificate is in the office waiting for, and this was on, I guess, Monday or Tuesday. She told me about this. So it's just waiting now. It's been reviewed, and it's waiting for the board's approval.
Okay. All right, Alderman Reed. Alderman Reed.
Thanks, Mayor. Well, city collector, I guess I understand that, and I guess I'm not sure. Have you talked with the city attorney? Because I guess
Sorry,
you've been
I'm
our
getting static. Have I
January,
talked to who?
our city attorney. You know, as far as this, I think you were appointed in December of 19 or January of 19. So I'm just wondering why 8 months into your tenure is things that you should be doing going to the attorney. And I'm not sure if the attorney has done everything, you know, like this particular place has had 119 police, and that's like part of, you know, the review part of it. I'm not sure if you looked at what the old city collector presented to us in the past, so we would have, you know, information to go by. There's kind of like some checks and balances. I understand just getting the application, getting the fee for the collector, but since it's what you should be doing, and you will be doing it in a couple months again, you know, for all of the licenses that we have, I'm just wondering when is this duty going to then become your duty, and reviewed what has happened with the attorney's office?
Okay, you're asking.
Go right ahead.
Mayor.
The license for the Family Dollar, probably, and I see Pat Barrett, probably, well, I know it won't be granted because it does not qualify. You have a church across the street and you have a daycare across the street on the Bell Fountain roadside. So it is actually too close to a house of worship and a daycare to be granted a license. Is that correct, Pat?
And the infractions, I would think too, Mayor.
If we're going perimeter to perimeter, that would be correct as far as the church is concerned. Daycares, I don't think are an exception. The schools are. I don't know that we have a school unless that church has a school in it. That what used to be called Freedom's, and I don't remember the name of the church that has occupied the same building.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the license won't be just like the store down the street on Bell Fountain Road. That's within 300 feet of a church, so they don't qualify for one according to the
Excuse me,
ordinance.
Mayor. This is Alderwoman West. I'm sorry, my hand was up. I don't know if everybody is aware, but Ruler also sells alcohol. So I don't know if we can use the fact that there is a church somewhere close, because Ruler, there's alcohol in Ruler. And when Ruler first bought that plaza, they had Kathy's move the lounge because they said they did not want alcohol sold, you know, on that plaza. Yet Ruler is selling alcohol. So I don't know how we could justify, you know, I agree, but I don't know how we can justify denying their license when Ruler is selling alcohol. They're in the same plaza.
Mm-hmm.
Just something to think about. Thank you.
Thank you for that information. Yes, Pat, you want to add to that?
I agree with Alderwoman West. Just as an aside, in talking with, I think it was a property owner concerning Kathy's, my understanding is that they apparently did not have a lease when Rulers with the previous owners of that shopping center. And so when Rulers, or rather the Bissell Hill Shopping Center, was purchased by Kroger, because there was no lease with Kathy's pre-existing, they were asked to move. I do agree that if we deny Family Dollar a license, we are probably going to see a very big legal challenge.
Okay, so we need to look at what kind of lease Ruler has. Ruler probably has some kind of special lease that they got when they bought that, however they obtained it. I don't know. That was there before I got here.
Right, and it's possible that because that church has changed hands more than once, it may have been an instance where there was no working church across the street. To be honest, I don't know that, but it used to be Frieden's, and this may be the third church name on that property since that time.
Alderwoman Elliott.
So for clarification, we currently have a liquor, we have a liquor license for Rulers on file currently. Do you know, Collector, Mayor?
We have the license on file. We haven't issued a license.
For Rulers, I'm talking about for Rulers.
Rulers, I'd have to look that up. I couldn't tell you. I don't have that information offhand.
Okay, so what I'm a little bit confused about is that if all of those processes have been vetted and it's your recommendation for that it's approved, I'm not understanding why the mayor is saying something different. So has it met the requirements or has it not met the requirements? Because it's 300 feet from a church that it needs to be. So has it or hasn't it, and do we have on file of issuing Rulers one? That will be my inquiry to make a sound decision, because I'm thinking if it's placed on the agenda, it's because it's been vetted and ready to approve versus, that not being the case. Thank you.
Alderwoman Reed.
Thanks, Mayor. Just as a follow-up, I wanted Pat to speak on, I guess he's more knowledgeable than a collector. I feel like I should be talking to the collector when it comes to this, but about the infractions. I think our ordinance, then I get to reread it again, speaks to all of the police activity. So would it not be plausible for us to deny based on that, even if we did not deny based on the church? Can you speak to that? And then I have 2 follow-up questions.
At the present time, I don't know that we could. However, there is some pending legislation concerning a point system that we may be able to police that better in the future. It comes from St. Peters, Missouri.
Yeah, I saw that, but I'm talking our ordinance today. I thought it spoke to moral character and if it has a lot of police activity. It does not currently. Huh?
That is section 3 of the city code, and to be honest, I'm not as familiar with that as I guess I could be or we could be.
Right, I mean, and again, I'm sorry, I do not believe my internet is saying it's unstable. But I don't believe it's your duty to know that. I believe it is the duty of the collector. Mayor, does the attorney
You're breaking up, so I don't know what you're saying.
know our code on that? Hey, I'm so sorry. Does our attorney, Mayor, know anything about the moral character, as far as the police activity of a business? Because I could have swore that's in our code.
Yes, I can answer that question, Alderwoman Reed. The code, specifically section 3-25 of Article 2, Chapter 3, specifically states that no person shall be granted a license unless they are of good moral character and a qualified voter and tax-paying citizen of the state. The fact that there has been police activity at the site would not be a basis for denying the license. That is not what is meant by moral character in that context. However, pursuant to your code section 3-28, Article 2, Chapter 3, you can certainly take that into consideration in granting any conditions that the applicant may be required to observe at the location. And one of the conditions can certainly be the monitoring of such activity and making sure that there is no activity at the site that would require policing by the city.
Yeah, because one of the issues we've had with this place is that they do not pay for their own security. You know, they have a lot of theft, there's a lot of police calls, you know, it's always being robbed often. And if you're gonna add liquor to that, you know, it kind of just intensifies. And I guess our collector, the dates of Grace New Covenant, when they got the church, because they being rulers was grandfathered in because there wasn't a church whenever ruler got their license. So obviously ruler could keep their license if it was during the time the church was vacant. Does that man hear me? Can you hear me? No.
Not much of it, but.
Okay, I think ruler probably was grandfathered in, you know, where Grace New Covenant didn't have the church at. I'll tell you later.
Okay, thank you. Yes, correct.
Yes, Mayor, I just like to address from what I can gather from what Alderman Reed was mentioning as far as my responsibilities and duties as the city collector. Yes, I did start in December, and I am part-time, less than part-time. And so the scope of the job duties that I have and the job description is what I've been followed by. I will say that, yes, I've been here 8 months, but we've also had a pandemic in which, you know, the office has been closed. Life as we know it is a little different, and I'm new. So there's a lot of things that I do know and a lot of things I don't know. And to make it seem like I am not taking care of the responsibilities, it would have been nice to, when I started, to have some guidance. I've asked questions, I'm going by and training on my own by what I think I know as a professional. And the scope of it was when I started that I was doing the reports. Now, as far as the license for this vendor, I'm not really familiar with that, and I'll be honest with you. I've asked questions, and as I mentioned, I'm new. And so there's no one to answer the questions. There's no one to guide me on things like this. So I partnered with the finance manager because I am not in the office, and nor do I have the tools to, I don't have access to general ledgers, I don't have access to the vendors, I don't have access to a lot of information. So I'm working by as the best I can with the knowledge that I've gathered myself. So in my defense, I understand what she's saying, but it would have been nice to have some knowledge or to be able to go to someone who can give me that understanding. I've asked questions, I've gotten the answers, I don't know. So I'm letting you guys know in my defense, that's where I'm coming from. It's not that I don't want to follow up with things. Lori's been very gracious and nice enough to, when someone comes in, she has facilitated in getting the license and the information. I spoke with her the other day, and she said the same thing that I'm doing now has also been the relationship that the city collectors in the past have done the same thing. So I can only go by with the questions I ask and the answers I get back. So as far as this license, I'm not well versed on it. That's why I talked to Lori. We turned it over to the attorney. So that's where I'm getting my information from. So I just thought I'd share that because apparently it doesn't seem to be, someone doesn't seem to understand what I was up against and what I'm dealing with now. Going forward, as we get these incidentals and different types of license, then I can ask the questions and basically learn what is going on. So I just thought I'd say that because it doesn't seem like, I felt like I'm shirking on my responsibility when I haven't had the tools that I need in order to do what I want to do, what I need to do effectively. So I thought I'd share that and say that.
Thank you. Alderman Thomas.
Yes, sir. It was either 112 or 119 incidents. I think we need to find out what those incidents concern, because it could have been nothing to do with Family Dollar at all, but just related to the address before we determine that we not give them the license. And I think also a very good point has been brought up of whether or not Grace Chapel was in effect at the time that Ruler opened. And I'm not sure of that myself, to determine whether or not we gave Ruler a license and they should not have had one at the time. But I think at this point, it's a couple of things probably that need to be re-reviewed before we can determine whether or not we do give them the license based off of the incidents, or we don't give them the license. And as Pat Barrett said, take a chance on going into litigation with Ruler over not going into litigation with Family Dollar for not giving them their license when we gave Ruler their license.
All right, Alderman Carroll.
Yeah, Mayor, I think we should, with all of these discussions, I think it would be proper that we have a motion and then debate the issue. I think we're debating the issue and then wanting to make the motion, when I think it would be proper to make the motion, have the debate, either vote yes or no, or table it. Because it's on the agenda, so we have to deal with it some way.
Right, Alderwoman Elliott.
I would like to make a motion to remove the item A off of the agenda for further investigation and to be placed back on the agenda at such a time that the investigation has concluded. I will type this in the motion.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Alderwoman West
Mayor,
second.
I actually already.
I hear two people talking. Give me one.
You have to look at the hands, and it'll be helpful. Mr.
I'm looking at the hand, and the hand is not, the voice I heard had nothing to do with the hand.
Right.
This is Alderman Thomas.
Okay, go ahead.
I was looking in the chat and I saw that Alderwoman Reed had tapped into the chat a motion. I didn't know if that was the motion that we were dealing with or if there was another motion on the floor.
No, it's a motion on the floor that Alderwoman Elliott just put on there at the request of Alderman Thomas. See your hand up. James Thomas.
Yeah, that's me talking.
That's you talking.
Yeah, I was saying
Alderwoman
that,
Reed.
Yeah.
Alderwoman Reed.
She had put, I guess she can say what she did.
Well,
Okay.
he can't hear me. Maybe you can hear me, Thomas, but I had typed it and accidentally hit enter before you know, before Avant Elliott, Alderwoman Avant Elliott stated it.
Oh,
I don't think he
okay.
can, I don't
Okay.
think he can hear me,
I can hear you.
Alderman Thomas, so you could
I
repeat
can hear
it.
you.
You could repeat it to the
I
mayor.
can.
I didn't hear.
Oh, okay. He can't hear you.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm looking
Alderwoman
at the
Reed
chat now.
had typed.
Hmm. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm looking
And
at.
Alderwoman Reed had typed hers.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. So then,
Just a point of order, Mayor. We was waiting for a second. I know that it was a little bit of confusion. She just said she did it on accident. So we were just waiting on a second so we can go forth with the vote. I put it in the chat.
Mayor, as a point of order, since the
Mhm.
matter is on the agenda for consideration, the appropriate motion would be to table it for further investigation.
But we didn't indicate an approval on there, so it's not indicated as an approval, it's just on there.
but we can table it
Yes,
because we're discussing it. We can table the discussion. And so is there a motion to table it?
This is, I raise my hand.
I need a motion. Oh, I'm sorry. Alderwoman West.
Thank you. I move to table this discussion until the next board meeting.
Is there a
Alderman
second?
Thomas second.
All righty. Is all in favor say aye?
I got a question, Mayor.
Okay, what's your question?
I think we need to figure out what we're tabling it for, to come up with a list of questions to be investigated, because we kind of talked about this liquor license a little bit last meeting, and now we're talking about it now. I think, so if we're looking at, we want to determine when Rulers was granted their liquor license, and looking at the date that the church established across the street, and whatever else other people were discussing about. But I have a couple of questions for the city attorney, if I may, too.
Let's dispense with what we have on the floor here now.
Well, it is regarding this, and maybe because I'd like to have some clarification from her regarding this issue.
Okay.
So, city attorney, I heard you reference our ordinance about it's got to be anybody. It's the managing officer has to be a taxpayer of the state. Did I hear that correctly?
no, I did not say that.
And-
I think you may be referring to a case that I referenced where that was an issue.
Okay.
It was a sole shareholder.
Okay, thank you. And then, but so I'm reading like the chapter 311.060 of the Missouri state statutes, the qualifications for a license. And I'm assuming that's the enabling statute for us to actually grant or deny liquor licenses to people or corporations. Is that correct?
Yes, that is the state statute.
Okay, and so in the state statute, it says, no person shall be granted a license hereunder unless such person is of good moral character. So we're not really dealing with that part of the licensure law, but it states, nor shall any corporation be granted a license hereunder unless the managing officer of such corporation is of good moral character and a qualified legal voter and tax-paying citizen of the county, town, city, or village. And when I look at the license on, I guess it's City of Bellefonte Neighbors affidavit accompanying application for liquor license, the managing officer that Family Dollar has listed as Michael Maluli, or I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he's a resident of Arnold, Missouri. And that's not in St. Louis County, that's in Jefferson County. So with that being said, would that be a basis to deny this liquor license as he's not a qualified legal voter and tax-paying citizen of the county, town, city, or village?
Okay, I'm sorry, but we got to go back and dispense with this motion to table. There's a motion to a table, and a second.
Excuse me, can she answer the question? Because this is relevant to the licensure. Because the managing officer is not a resident of St. Louis County. He's a resident of Jefferson County, and the statute says they need to be a resident of St. Louis County. So I was asking her if that would be a basis to deny this license because of his residency.
Well, now, Alderman Carroll, I think that's something worth looking into.
Okay.
I certainly would not just rule out what you're saying. I think it's something worth looking into.
Okay. So could we add that to the list too, Mayor, of things to look into for the next meeting?
When we dispense with a motion to table and a second, then we can talk about anything we want to. But and let's be clear, it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. Someone made a motion to table it, and that was a second, and that should be dispensed with.
But
So,
we have a debate portion to those motions, Mayor.
Well,
and that's what we're at.
When there's a motion to table, discussion stops. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mayor, my hand has been up. This is Alderwoman West.
Well, I can't look at that chat and handle this other business.
No, I'm not on the chat. My
Okay.
hand is raised.
I'm sorry. Well, go right ahead.
Okay, so I would suggest that Alderman Carroll amend my motion.
I thought we were motioning to table it.
Right.
And my recommendation was if we're going to table it, we need to come up, we're saying we're tabling it for the next meeting so we can investigate things. I think we need to define what those things are. So at the next meeting, we have answers to what people have been discussing about tonight, instead of coming to the meeting next week and saying, okay, well, we think this, we think that, but nobody's really got a clear-cut answer.
Well, that's the reason for tabling it, so that we can investigate it and have the answers for the next meeting. And so it's been moved and second. So and we voted. I got some ayes and somebody said something else, but we got to maintain decorum here. All opposed say aye or nay. Ayes have it, so the motion has been tabled. Let me get back to my agenda here. All right. Road salt. Street Department.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Jeff in the Street Department. I understand we got our sealed bid last week sometime, and we were given a bid of $64.60, I believe, a ton delivered. And I'm also aware that the board had some questions regarding the proposed bid. I can tell you last year we purchased the salt at $76 and some change per ton delivered. So I'm open for questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get back to my chat here. Alderwoman Elliott.
I would like to make a motion to accept the sealed bid for road salt.
For $64.50 a ton.
Yes,
That's accepting the bid that we have, right?
yes. So we can open up for discussion and then the board will decide from there.
Is there a second?
Alderman Thomas.
Okay. Are there any further discussion?
You have some hands up.
All right, I'm getting ready. Alderwoman Reed.
I don't think the mayor can hear me, but I would like to, okay. I would like to amend the motion for the city of Bellefonte neighbors to enter a bill to go into contract with 64.50 a ton for 250 tons.
Oh, I don't see a hand up, so is there, Alderwoman West?
I second, I'm sorry.
Your hand's up. Okay.
Excuse me, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay. She amended for 250 ton for the road salted, 64.50 a ton. The budget for that is 20,000. With that being said, if I do my math correctly, we can get approximately 310 ton. And now that we have our new salt shed up, we can hold that plus some. So I would advise to get the maximum that we can because of last year. We do have a little surplus now, but if we had had one or two more snow events last year, we would have been out of salt and possibly wouldn't be able to get any more for that season.
So what's your recommendation?
To purchase it all, to use the entire salt budget to purchase as much as we can, which would be approximately 310 ton.
All right. Alderwoman Elliott.
Just since we're on the discussion, I just wanted to get clarification on the bid process because this is the first one I've seen since I've been an alderwoman. So why didn't the 310 be included in the advertisement of the bid?
You can't. I didn't want to put out there that we had a $20,000 budget.
Not that part. I'm just talking about what you needed, the 310 ton.
Oh, I'm suggesting we have a $20,000 budget and $64.50 a ton. We can get 310 ton of salt. So we should have a surplus just in case. With that being said, the 250 is what we would normally use on a mild winter. But I don't think it would hurt to have some because we have the storage capability now.
No, what I was asking, that's normally a specification in a bid, like what you need. Like, so I was just asking why 310 wasn't indicated for individuals to provide a bid on 310. So like, we just got loose bids that say, like, how would the person wouldn't know how much we need unless we tell them. So I was just wondering why 310 was not included in the bid request for the individuals to bid on. That's what I was inquiring about.
Well, like I said, I didn't give a specific number, and the reason was because if I gave a specific number, I didn't know what the bids were going to come in at. They range anywhere from, I don't know, in the past $62 up to $125 a ton. So I don't want to give them our budget number.
No, I'm not talking about budget number. I want you to understand, I'm talking about quantity. I'm just talking about quantity of what we needed. 310 is a quantity. So if you put it out there, then they tell you how much that quantity would be for them, because some people adjust. The more we have, the lower they go down or whatever. And so we have neglected a process if we did not advise them of what we needed by saying we would like a bid on 310 tons.
No,
yeah, okay.
No, that's not. Young woman, that's not true.
Ma'am, we're conducting city business. Please mute your phone. Thank you. Okay, that's my question. So, I would like to make a motion to strike out 250. I would like to amend the motion to strike out 250 and replace it with 310 tons.
Is there a second?
I second.
Alderwoman West second.
Okay, so we got 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Are there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, roll call vote. We'll do a roll call vote on this.
Okay, Alderwoman West,
Yes.
Alderwoman Reed. Alderwoman Reed,
Sorry, no.
no. Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderman Christian,
Yes.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott.
Yes.
You have 5 yes and 1 no.
All right, the motion passes. Standing committee training. Alderwoman Elliott.
Yes, this is a training that I am presenting to the board that Pat Kelly shared that he would facilitate to help us make sure that we have our standing committees set up properly. This will be advisory, so if at the conclusion of the information he provides, we decide a different route, that will be up to us. So I'm just asking for the board to, I would like to make a motion for the board to have a training during the week, which will be decided via email communication. Since it will be a training, it will just be ministerial. But we will choose a time at 7 o'clock p.m. So I would like to make a motion for the board to participate in standing committee training with Pat Kelly on at 7 p.m. on a date to be determined.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who was that the second? I didn't.
Carol.
Carol.
Alderman Carol.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott, did you put that in the chat?
I'm typing it right now.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Are you ready? You got it?
Yes, sir.
Are there any further discussion? Okay, well, let me just add to that, because I had talked to Pat Kelly about doing a board training for us, and so we can just make yours be the one and only one that we'll have. So I will just I will not go forth with the one I had proposed to him. Any further discussion? Alderwoman Reed. Alderwoman Reed.
Yes, Mayor. Not sure if you can hear me, but I'm wondering, was your subject to train, was your subject the same as standing committee training? Or should we be adding another subject that Pat Kelly's going to talk about?
Just board training, just you know, how a board should act on issues. That's all. I think what she's doing will probably accomplish the same thing.
Well, hers is real specific on standing committees. Hers was not on decorum, if that's what
Okay.
you're talking about. So
Okay.
maybe we should add that he knows that he will be talking about decorum as well. And she should make sure whoever's making this date up with him, that he knows to, you know, he should have a deck ready. He should be prepared to talk about what both of you guys want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Alderwoman Elliott, are you willing to work with me on that to get a date? And I beg your pardon?
No, go ahead. I was listening to what you.
Are you willing to work with me and we just incorporate the two together on the same day?
Do you have a topic in mind already? Because Fran was polling individuals today, but she did not have information.
It was board training, really.
I know, but board training is normally specific. So then, because I made a motion specific to something, so then if I amend it, then I can include that. But right now, it's just generally stated without any specifics, because board training could be anything. We've done Robert's Rule of Order, we've done the Sunshine Law, so what would the specific be? If not, then, I guess that would have to be coordinated outside of this process, because, she didn't provide us any specifics. So we can be on one accord.
Okay, but you can go ahead on, we can vote on yours and then I'll schedule mine. Any further discussion? Let's see, you got it in the chat box. Okay. All in favor? Let's vote on it.
Oh, I thought I put it in there. I'm sorry.
I said, participate in the standing committee training at 7 p.m. The date to be determined. All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposers, nay.
Aye.
All right,
Was that a nay from Christian?
I said aye.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. So the motion passes. Accounts payable investigation committee.
Mayor, that's me. We made that motion to form that committee, I think at the August 13th meeting, and at the next meeting, we were gonna nominate and appoint 4 alderpersons to that committee. So that's what we're doing tonight, is nominating and the 4 alderpersons.
4 alderpersons on a account payable investigation committee? What does that entail?
Well, whatever was going on with our credit rating and investigating why some of our creditors are not extending us additional credit, to investigate that.
Well, you, the board, are not approving the over 500s in a timely manner. That's why the bills haven't been paid. So you're going to investigate yourself?
Well, if that's what it needs, then yes, that's what we need to correct ourselves.
I don't see the need to set up a committee for you to say, pay the bills over 500.
Mayor, we've already voted on that and it's been approved by the board, but we're going to do that. And tonight we're making the nominations and appointing those people.
All right, make your nomination and appoint the people. Proceed.
I'm asking if anybody wants to be on the committee.
Alderwoman Elliott.
I would like to nominate the following individuals: Alderman Carroll, Alderwoman Reed, Alderman Christian, and myself.
Alderwoman Reed.
Sorry. I was just wondering, I didn't remember, sorry, if there had to be one person from every ward or anything like that. I don't think so, but I just wanted to make sure.
Mayor, may I?
Yes.
No, it wasn't specific one from each ward. It was just 4 alderpersons.
Okay. Well, then I accept the nomination.
I accept.
Alderwoman Elliott,
Yes, sir.
you have your hand up.
Oh, no, I was, Alderman Christian, do you accept the nomination?
Sure.
Okay. All right. I guess, is there any further nominations? Then we can proceed, I guess.
Anyone else on the serve on that committee? If not, then
I'm gonna type a motion in the chat.
This is Alderman Thomas. I was having problems getting in, but I wanted to serve on that committee. So I nominate myself.
okay. Where are we? Because I'm looking at this chat.
I'm getting ready to type in a motion.
Are you typing it in now? Okay.
Yeah, I'm typing in right now. I'm fine with not being on this committee and letting Alderman Thomas take my place.
Okay.
I move that Alderpersons Thomas, Reed, Christian, Yvonne Elliott serve on the Accounts Payable Investigating Committee.
Any other nominees? If not, all in favor say aye.
We need a second.
You need a second, man.
But is there a second?
Christian will second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposers, nay. Ayes have it.
Mayor,
Yes.
on this particular one, since we're on this particular topic, I would like to make a motion for Alderwoman Reed to chair this process. That Alderwoman Reed chair the Accounts Payable Investigation Committee.
Alderwoman Reed has not responded. At least I don't see.
I accept the nomination, Mayor.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Alderman Carroll, I see your hand up. You have any further?
I second that.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposers, nay. Ayes have it. So does that take care of the committee too? I know that was for the chair.
That's done, yes, Mayor.
Okay, so, all right, let's move on then.
Number E, letter E.
Bill, let's see, bill number 2592. I think that's right, yeah. An ordinance amendment amending chapter 19 of the Bellefontaine Neighbors City Code relating to offenses against public police and safety. Alderwoman West.
Wes, you're muted.
I'm sorry. Mayor, I move to read ordinance number 2592 for the first and second reading.
Mhm. Proceed.
Thank you. Oh, there it goes. Okay. And bill number 2592, an ordinance amending chapter 19 of the Bellefontaine Neighbors City Code relating to offenses against public peace and safety.
And
Christian will second.
Jim Christian did a second. Is this to be a first and second read?
Yes.
Then you want to ask for a second read before we vote in first one?
Well, I put it in the chat section, so.
Okay, well, you all right then. I don't see that, but all in favor say aye.
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 Opposers, nay. Ayes have it. Proceed with your second read.
Question, Mayor.
I'm sorry. Okay, bill number 2592, an ordinance amending chapter 19 of the Bellefontaine Neighbors City Code relating to offenses against public peace and safety.
Alderwoman Elliott.
Yes, just a point of order, on the question. You didn't ask for the question, and I just had a very quick question.
Are there any questions?
Yes. I just had a quick question for the attorney. She had indicated in the email that it was some process pending, and I just wanted clarification on what that final process was. And so, to note what the actual, change is versus what was in the ordinance before.
Yes, Alderwoman Avant Elliott, there was actually no change in the ordinance. After discussion with Alderwoman West, it was left as it is. The one thing that she raised had to do with the placement of basketball hoops. She requested that they be placed so that they did not protrude into the streets and they must be against the garage. Well, in investigating that requirement, it has been addressed within the zoning code. So we followed up with Pat Barrett and discussed this with him. And this is going to be addressed through the Zoning and Planning Committee. And so it will ultimately come back to the board. But it did not fit within the ordinance that we have here because it does not fall within the category of an offense against public peace and safety. That was the other piece to it that I mentioned in my email earlier.
All right, do we proceed?
Alderwoman Reed has her hand up.
Oh, yes, Alderwoman Reed.
Thanks, Mayor. I was just wondering, but I guess the city attorney just answered it, that whatever planning and zoning comes back with, it wouldn't have to overwrite this section of our code.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, and we had a citizen that brought this up like early on months ago, and they were talking about the basketball play during the day. But this actually only speaks to basketball play and, from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. I think that's what I read earlier.
10 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Right. And I felt like there was no complaints from residents or citizens about play at that time. I mean, even personally myself, I don't see any play at that time. The only problem we have is people sitting in their driveway playing their music at that time, but not basketball play. I just don't think that this ordinance speaks to, and nothing against Alderwoman West, the writer of it, nor the city attorney. It just doesn't speak to the issue that we're having in the city concerning basketball hoops. So there was nothing suggested for the day hours and people encroaching up on other people's property. How far basketball play has to be from your property line or anything like that. I was just wondering if you could speak to that, maybe.
Yes, with respect to the encroachment upon the property of other individuals, that is already covered in your city code. Give me a second.
And while you look
at any rate, the email that I sent earlier addresses the specific section of the code where it is covered. What was the other question? The other issue that was raised by Alderwoman West had to do with playing sports of any kind in the streets, and that's already covered in your code as well. And it's already covered that you're not allowed to play sports and trespass onto another's property. Now, the hours that are covered, I was under the impression that we were covering the hours that were at issue. And I think Alderwoman West was as well. So I can't answer your question as to it not addressing the situation in total, because I was under the impression that the hours that were covered in the ordinance were those that were at issue.
Okay. Yeah, the resident, that wasn't what he said, but so the majority of what you said is actually already in our code, so it may be more, just in your opinion, more of a enforcement issue really than a law writing issue. That's what it sounds like. Like we're not enforcing what's already on, you know, in law, in our code. Does that make sense?
I think you're absolutely correct, because there are certainly code provisions in effect now that address some of the concerns.
Yeah.
Alderwoman West?
Thank you, Mayor. If I can clarify, because I know Ms. Coleman works with a lot of stuff, but when we talked, she referenced the fact that the city code that deals with contractors cutting grass, etc., has that time from, okay, so you're shaking your head. And so it was either change that code or for this ordinance to mirror the code that's already in place. And so I opted to mirror the one that's already in place because I felt that we would have to go through so much and it would affect so many different things, like when people come in to dig, the water company or whoever, that would affect them. So I don't know if we can have two separate ones. And I think attorney said she didn't think that was a good idea. So I don't know if that answers your question. Alderwoman Reed, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, it you know, kind of, sort of. I mean, it's just, you know, it was dealing with this time with everybody working from home, how, you know, and how it just looks that there's some streets got, you know, a lot of hoops versus some streets like mine have none. But and when people working from home and kids staying home right now, I mean, there may be no way we can really, I don't know.
I mean, if you have a suggestion, or if attorney has, anybody, if anyone has a suggestion, I'm certainly open to it.
Yeah.
How we can get this done, because I understand your concern and I have the same one. However, if we have to change the other code, that would then affect contractors coming into Bellefontaine Neighbors to do work, and they would only be able to do it between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m., which is what I had for the basketball hoops.
Alder, Mayor, if I could speak to that.
Yes, you may.
The hours that are in the code with respect to activities that could disturb the public peace are between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Changing it to say that basketball can only be played between the hours of 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. would not change the result there, because the hours are actually the evening hours.
Thank you.
It does not change the result at all.
Okay. Alderwoman West, are you ready to proceed?
I think I've made the second reading, I believe.
I don't think we
I
voted on
didn't?
the first one yet.
And we did. We're on
Huh?
the second read, Mayor.
Yeah, she has to do the second read at this.
Did we vote on the first read?
Yes, we,
Okay. All right. Alderwoman West, have you done this second read?
Okay, bill number 2592, an ordinance amending chapter 19 of the Bellefontaine Neighbors City Code relating to offenses against public peace and safety.
Is that second?
so,
Okay.
Who said, oh,
I heard it.
Carol,
I
Who
second,
said-
yeah.
okay.
And any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
Yes.
Alderman Christian. Alderman Christian, you're muted. Alderman Thomas.
Yes.
Christian, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Alderman Carroll.
Yes,
Alderwoman Reed.
Yes.
Alderwoman West.
Yes.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
All right, bill passes. All right, brings us down to the mayor's report. I have
Can
two.
the city clerk say her
Oh,
statement?
oh, nope, nope.
I beg your pardon? What do you say?
I've got to do that little spiel, Mayor,
Okay, then. Go right
on
ahead.
this ordinance. Bill number 2592 was voted and passed by the majority of the board and will become ordinance number 2587 if and when signed by the mayor.
Okay. Move down to the mayor's report. I have two appointments. Youth Commission, Ebony Williams. I'd like for the board to approve these appointments. Public Safety Commission, Ebony Hartfield. So I'm asking for board approval on these appointees.
Avant Elliott has her hand up.
Alderwoman Elliott,
I think Barbara was first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Alderwoman West.
Yes, Mayor. So Ebony Williams completed her applications
Mhm.
to serve on both the Youth Commission and the Public Safety Commission. And you only have her here for the Youth Commission.
Right.
Why?
Because it is not good practice to put one person on two or more commissions.
Mayor, there have been numerous people, including myself, who served on more than one commission. And she went through due process, the proper process, by completing her application. And so she should be considered. That should be voted on, not removed.
Well, I'm not removing her.
Well,
I'm recommending that she serve on one committee at a time, and also Ebony Hartsfield to be served on one committee.
but Ebony Hartfield, as far as I know, only asked to be on one committee. Whereas Ms. Williams requested to serve on two, which we have openings on both committees. So I'll let someone else speak.
Alderwoman Elliott.
Just for clarification, Mayor, John Duhadaway, he serves on three. He's the one that I indicated last year when you first got elected that he was going to be serving on three. and he got reappointed on to all three last year. And right now, the Public Safety Committee, I did attend the meeting in support of Alderman Carroll's first meeting as rep, and they were under quorum. So for some reason, the previous rep did not share with the board that that committee was operating without a quorum until I was able to witness it for myself. So they can't even, right now with the attendees, conduct proper public safety business because they're only operating with maybe 3 individuals, and Alderman Carroll can speak further on that. But whatever, I mean, it's your motions, it's your appointment, so whatever you decide, but keep that in mind that if we have individuals to participate, that it is good to allow them to serve if they can.
Alderman Carroll.
I would like to move to appoint Ebony Williams to the Youth Commission and Ebony Hartfield to the Public Safety Commission.
Alderman Reed. Alderwoman Reed.
Thanks, Mayor. I will second Alderman Carl's motion, but with the added statement that I agree that if there are people that want to serve on committees, let them, because I've had 3 people go through the process and not come through with it. So it's been a challenge to have people to want to actually work in our city and help in our city. And that gives us, you, less work to do when we have citizens that want to be in the process and to give, their insight where they, they live here too. And I don't think it's a problem. Like I've witnessed, I like John, he's a former alderman and everything, but he does serve on, I know, more than one board, and he's helpful in all those ways. So I think it would be advantageous for you because even since the last town hall meeting, we haven't had any new people to get on these boards. We have our Board of Adjustments that there's not enough of them to operate. We need people really bad. Every time I ask, people say no, But I second it.
Okay, you're seconding the motion made by Alderman Carroll to add Ebony Williams to Public Safety. Are there any
Yes.
further discussion?
I didn't make
has.
that. Point of order.
I beg your
Mayor,
pardon?
I didn't make that. I moved to appoint Ebony Williams to the Youth Commission and Ebony Hartfield to the Public Safety Commission like you have on the agenda.
Right. And that's what I second.
Okay,
Mayor,
yes.
for the question, given that you have placed this appointment on there for today, is that something that you're willing to consider for the next board meeting as an appointment at that time, since it's not currently on there? Is that something that you're willing to consider?
Right. No, I have no problem whatsoever about
Okay.
Ebony Williams serving on the 2 committees. I just thought that it'd be good if we could get one person on each one and fill them all. But I have no problem with it, so I'm ready to move with that.
Okay, since it's not on this appointment, if Fran could place it on the next agenda, then that would be appropriate based on this. So she'll be able to hear that you will allow her to be placed on that.
Okay, so.
My hand has been up for a while, excuse me. This is Alderwoman West.
Yes, ma'am.
So I would like to amend Alderman Carroll's motion to add Ebony Williams to the Youth Commission and the Public Safety Commission, and to appoint Ebony Hartfield to the Public Safety Commission.
Is there a second? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, is there a second? I only see one hand up, and that's the motion maker.
I'll second it, Mayor.
Okay, then. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, is
Aye.
nay. All right, ayes have it. So they'll both be placed on the boards of their choice. that they've already chosen to serve on. The last thing that I would like to say is that September the 17th is that board meeting will be our town hall meeting also. And so we are planning for that town hall meeting. And anyone who have any ideas, any input, if you would send them to the city clerk, and we'll try and put that agenda together. Okay. So then the Alderman report will come now.
Okay, Alderman Thomas.
Good evening. I was just like to thank everyone for their continued participation in our board meetings and working these different situations that incident out. I'd like to thank the mayor for setting up the training for us to have with that Kelly. Also, like to thank Alderwoman Elliott for setting up training. I've been out the loop for a minute, but I am back, and I've been back for the last month, but it's still a rough road. But we're gonna make it. The city will be thriving. Hope that everyone still is taking care of the census. I saw the census guy over here in my neighborhood, so that proves that there were some people who still had not filled out the census, and I hope that they answer these questions so that they can be complete. Again, I thank you, and that's it for today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Reed.
Thanks, City Clerk.
Welcome.
Mayor, just to give a suggestion so I don't forget. We normally have like a short meeting right before the town hall meeting just to like approve bills over 500 or something like that, like only really important things. We normally meet for that. Or do you know if you're planning to have this, I'm assuming you're having it virtual, right?
No, we want to have it in person in the gym. We'll space out. We'll practice safe distance.
And just some heads up for September. City Clerk probably knows this, she's been doing it forever. We have to approve the ad valorem tax rates. That's typically a special meeting that we have because we have to have it approved by September 30th. That sets like the property tax rates and stuff. We normally, what's the other thing? We normally have the homecoming parade for Riverview Gardens, and I'm assuming because they're not having class, they're not gonna have that. I don't know if you know that yet or not, Mayor.
I don't know for sure, but I don't think they will under the circumstances.
And the last thing is RPA normally comes in for a meeting for employees and elected officials to review the services that they offer, you know, to the city. So maybe a city clerk normally sets that up. I'm not sure.
Okay, Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
The RPA did come yesterday and today, Tuesday and Wednesday. Lori sent the invitations out, which she always does. So she sent those out and RPA came in. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because normally we get invited and we have new order people on the board. So I didn't get anything in my email. I don't know if someone else did, but you know, because elected officials are extended those services as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know I'm talking about RPA, not the new
Mhm.
insurance stuff, right? Okay.
Right, RPA is the retirement
Right.
partners. Yeah.
Oh, and sorry, Mayor. Have we already engaged our auditors?
Yes.
Okay.
They
Thank
have
you.
been in the office. They started this week.
Awesome.
Are
Thank
you
you.
done, Ms. Reed?
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're welcome. Alderman Christian?
Thank you. Just a couple of things I wanted to mention. I had a question about town hall, but the mayor has already answered that. I will send a few items for that. I would like to know, in discussion for the Board of Aldermen, if anyone would have any input or anything about forming an ordinance or helping create an ordinance related to food trucks. That issue has come up before in planning and zoning, and they wanted us to look into it. So I would like any input about that or anything before we would go through it.
I think he froze. Yeah.
I think we're getting some of that Laura action or something.
Yeah, and you know, Zoom crashed the other day, so.
Jim,
Are you there, Christian?
Jim, you froze up. Are you unfrozen?
I'm moving on my end. I can see myself move.
You
Yeah.
just started moving. You were froze for a second. Were you done?
No. What
Okay.
did I say? Did anyone hear anything I said?
Yeah, we heard most of it. Yeah.
Food truck.
Okay.
Talk
Talk
about the
about
food
the
truck,
food
yeah.
truck. The other thing that was out of P&Z, and it may have been mentioned before in a P&Z report, but for us to look into requirements about alcohol sales. Again, the different size bottles and things that can be sold, if there's something that we can look into an update about that. Again, if anyone has any ideas about it or anything, I would appreciate some of that, and we can look into that. I would like to see, and we can talk about this at that accounts payable thing. I would like the under 500 list to come back, even if it's just line and amount, so we know what is being paid out under $500. And that is all that I have right now. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Alderwoman West?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So as it relates to the town hall meeting, I have a couple of things. Number one, will there be refreshments at that meeting?
No.
Okay, and the reason I asked is because the rec center staff usually are the people who buys the cookies and punch and whatever, and last time we had sandwiches. So I would like to recommend that the rec center staff, if we have refreshments, be in charge of that. The second thing is it necessary for the alderpersons to be at the town hall meeting, because we never speak, so we just kind of sit there, and I am uncomfortable being around a large group of people at this point. I am at high risk, and so personally, I don't think I'll be there. So if you could answer that question before I move on.
Well, it wouldn't be good under the circumstances to have food and to socialize
Right.
like we've done in the past. So we've eliminated the food. So when the meeting's over, we'll just leave and go
Okay.
home wherever we want to go.
So my second question was, is it necessary for the alderpersons to be there, since we never speak?
I think it's good for y'all to be there. I mean, it is a meeting that should only last hour and a half, 2 hours, and then you have outside guests invited at all of them to share information with us. We usually have our state senator come, our state rep to come, our county council person to come. And so in order to shorten it, to make sure that the town hall meeting doesn't go over hour and a half, certainly no more than 2 hours. You
And
just couldn't
people-
have everybody speaking. You just can't.
Okay, I'm sorry. And people will be required to wear masks?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So my last question is, I was speaking to a person today who serves on the Public Safety Committee, and she mentioned that they had not received a stipend check, I think since sometime last year. And I can't remember, I think it's like $15 a meeting, I believe. And I asked her, had she taken into consideration, that we were quarantined, and she said yes. So my question is, are the people on these various commissions and committees receiving their stipend checks, or do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, could you possibly have Fran find out, please?
Sure, we can
I
find
just
out.
wrote that down. Alderwoman West, I'll check with the finance clerk tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. And that ends my questions.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Carroll.
Yes. First of all, Mayor, with all the appointments to the Public Safety Commission, I believe all of those are Ward 1 residents, and a Ward 2 resident informed me that she completed an application, and I'll email you and forward you her name for possible consideration to be appointed to that commission at the next board meeting. And then secondly, regarding the webinar package, the board adopted standing orders about how to handle virtual meetings back in July. And part of that was, we never specifically said the webinar package, but we need those features in the webinar to where we don't have residents actually in the meeting. And the board approved that expenditure, I believe, this month sometime. And I was wondering when that's going to be purchased and implemented for the board meetings.
I have no idea. That's something we can look into.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Alderwoman Avant Elliott.
All right, thank you everyone who have come out tonight. I just wanted to share that in an attempt to maintain transparency and communication, the city newsletter has been mailed to homes. So thank you to all the community leaders and volunteers who submit information, and for my peers who assist in reviewing. For individuals who miss board meetings, please Google Bell Fountain Neighbors Board Meetings and subscribe to the YouTube page so you can stay abreast. I have residents contacting me and sharing that those videos have allowed them to be aware of what is going on in the city when they cannot attend. 2 weeks ago, I attended a session on projected eviction crisis that suggests that mayors and city managers should be starting a plan to address those issues that may arise in the community. So I am encouraging our mayor to begin that planning process if necessary with partnerships and so forth. I did place out on Nextdoor 211. You dial 211 like you would 911 if you are in need of rent, mortgage, or utility assistance. Also, my peer from Jennings shared that the Salvation Army Midland Division has been awarded CARES Act funds, and you can contact them at 314-646-3000 to speak with a case manager to get those types of assistance that 211 also offers. The board has not reported since the passing of Representative John Lewis. So I would like to acknowledge his passing with the hopes that we can aspire to take on his legacy of fighting for justice. Additionally, I would like to make the note that during the Elliot Davis interview, there were pertinent details excluded that explain the need for a city administrator that are covered on the censure resolution. So I would like to also note that the election for mayor was last year, April 2019. So if I desire to run, I would have at that point. And I am the only one that can state my own intentions. I am pleased that the interview has gotten more residents asking questions and being involved. I would like residents to take note of the alderpersons who are not fulfilling their obligations to hold themselves and other elected officials accountable to policy and procedures. And if they are truly for the citizens, you should see changes in behaviors and actions during the legislative process. I would like to thank my peers who have committed to training and trying to improve their craft and working together to get things accomplished. What you may not have heard from Alderman Thomas because of the static, there is census taking place with individuals going to homes. They should have badges, so you would know that that person is a census worker, so you are not defrauded or robbed in any way. I did have a special request of the mayor based on the resolution, if either by email or publicly, that you can share any progress towards going to trainings or any other initiatives that may have been mentioned that the board had requested in order for there to be improvement. Just a report that training has taken place, and any other reports that show improvement will be appreciated. And I would hope that board members who have not attended board trainings would review the videos so that we can all be on the same page. That concludes my report. I'm sorry, I want to mention that I would like, if the board would allow me to assist with the setting up for the Zoom. I think that that other municipalities have an account that's generalized that we can use to say City of Belle Fountain Neighbors and be able to have a Google account and attach it to the Zoom. So if I'm allowed to facilitate the process, then I can work with Fran and the office to get that properly set up. So then whoever owns that Zoom can have access along with whoever assists Fran in her absence. So it's not from her account and she feels uncomfortable. So I will try to work on that as soon as possible if the board is okay with me facilitating that process. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay, back to you, Mayor.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. That's just one other thing that I would like to mention tonight before we get a motion to dismiss. And that is that I would like to, along with, I'm asking Alderman Christian to spearhead putting together a Ways and Means Commission for our city. And more information will be given as he move along. Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn? Yes. Alderwoman Elliott.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting at 9:07 p.m.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Ayes have it, and everybody sleep well tonight.
You too.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Good night, all.
All right.
Good night. Good night.